Listen up. 2026 is not coming. It's already here. It's moving faster than most people can keep up with. If you want to win, if you want to rise above the noise, there are 8 skills you absolutely cannot ignore. Skills that will separate those who succeed from those who struggle, those who lead from those who follow. These aren't optional. They're non-negotiable. Emotional mastery, focus, adaptability, communication, discipline, financial intelligence, confidence, and lifelong learning. They're the foundation of your unstoppable future. The question is simple. Are you ready to step up and claim what's yours? Most people think the world is out of control. They wake up every morning feeling like life is happening to them instead of for them. News headlines screaming fear, social media feeding comparison, deadlines, bills, opinions, pressure, and they say, this world is crazy. But let me tell you something straight. The world has always been chaotic. What's different now is the speed, the pace, the intensity. And in a world like this, the real separator isn't talent, intelligence, or even opportunity. It's emotional control. Because here's the truth. Most people don't want to face you're not upset because of what happened. You're upset because of the meaning you gave it. 2 people can experience the exact same situation. One grows stronger, the other falls apart, same event, different emotional state, different future. That's not luck, that's skill. See, emotions are not something you have. They're something you do. And if you don't learn how to manage your emotional state, your emotions will manage you. They'll decide when you quit, when you lash out, when you procrastinate, when you settle, when you say I can't instead of I'll figure it out. Think about it. How many opportunities have been destroyed not by lack of ability, but by a moment of anger, fear, self-doubt? How many relationships, careers, businesses collapse because someone couldn't pause, breathe, and choose a better response? Emotional reactions cost people years of their life, sometimes decades. Going into 2026, pressure is not decreasing. Competition is not slowing down. Expectations are not getting lighter, which means the people who win will not be the ones who avoid stress, but the ones who train themselves to stay powerful inside stress. Calm is not weakness. Calm is control, and control is power. When you can stay centered while everything around you is shaking, people feel it. They trust you. They follow you. They want to do business with you. Why? Because certainty is magnetic, and certainty comes from emotional mastery. Most people live in reaction mode. Something happens, boom, they react. A comment online ruins their day. A setback makes them question their worth. A delay turns into frustration, and they don't even realize they're on autopilot. But high performers live differently. They respond. They choose their state before the world chooses it for them. Let me ask you something. When things don't go your way, what do you practice? Because whatever you practice becomes permanent. If you practice frustration, you'll get great at it. If you practice panic, you'll master it. But if you practice grounding yourself, refocusing and moving forward anyway, you become unstoppable. Emotional control doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't let feelings hijack your direction. You acknowledge the emotion, then you decide what comes next. You don't suppress it. You don't explode with it. You use it. Fear can sharpen you, pressure can refine you, anger can fuel change if you're in control. Otherwise, those same emotions will burn everything you're trying to build. And here's the part people miss. Emotional control is not built in calm moments, it's built in chaos. It's built when your plan fails, when people doubt you, when results are slow, when you feel tired, misunderstood, underestimated. That's the gym, that's the training ground. Ask yourself, when stress shows up, do you rise or retreat? Do you slow down and think? Or do you speed up and react? Because every moment like that is shaping your identity, and identity determines destiny. In the next few years, the marketplace won't just reward skills, it will reward stability. Employers, partners, clients, audiences, they're all looking for people who can handle pressure without breaking, people who can make clear decisions in uncertain times, people who don't crumble when things get uncomfortable. That starts with controlling your physiology, your breath, your posture, your focus. Change your body, you change your state, change your questions, you change your direction. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this training me for? Instead of, I can't handle this, ask, what's the next smart move? Because the moment you change the question, you take back control. Understand this, the greatest freedom you will ever experience is not financial, it's emotional. When no one can push your buttons unless you hand them permission, when circumstances don't dictate your confidence, when setbacks don't steal your belief, that's when you stop surviving and start leading. So as you move toward 2026, don't just upgrade your resume, upgrade your emotional skill set. Train yourself to pause, to choose power over panic, to stay grounded when others spiral, because the future doesn't belong to the most emotional, it belongs to the most emotionally disciplined. And when you master that, nothing outside of you can ever take control of what's possible inside of you. Let's talk about the one skill that almost nobody is training anymore, yet everyone desperately needs: focus. Not the kind where you sit down for 5 minutes and check your phone 3 times. I'm talking about real focus, the ability to lock in, shut out the noise, and direct your energy at something meaningful long enough to create results. Because in the world you're walking into, distraction isn't an accident, it's a business model. Every notification, every headline, every scroll is designed to pull you out of your power. And most people don't even realize it's happening. They think they're busy, but they're not productive. They think they're informed, but they're overwhelmed. They think they're connected, but they're fragmented. And fragmentation is the enemy of excellence. Here's the truth: where your attention goes, your life goes. If your focus is scattered, your results will be scattered. You cannot build a powerful future on broken concentration. You can't master a craft, grow a business, strengthen your body, or deepen a relationship if your mind is constantly somewhere else. Look around. People start things but don't finish. They jump from idea to idea, strategy to strategy, video to video. They're consuming more than any generation in history and producing less than their potential. Why? Because depth requires focus, and focus requires discipline. The ability to concentrate deeply is becoming rare, and anything rare becomes valuable. Going into 2026, the winners won't be the ones who know the most. They'll be the ones who can apply what they know without distraction. They'll be the ones who can sit in silence, think clearly, and execute consistently while everyone else is reacting to the latest noise. Distraction doesn't just steal time, it steals identity. Every time you allow something meaningless to interrupt something important, you're reinforcing a pattern that your goals are optional, that your future can wait, that your comfort matters more than your calling, and your brain is always listening. Most people don't lack ambition, they lack boundaries. They don't protect their mornings, they don't protect their energy, they don't protect their environment, and then they wonder why they feel behind. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you worked on one thing fully present for an uninterrupted hour? No phone, no tabs open, no background noise, just you and the task. For many people, that question feels uncomfortable, and that discomfort tells you everything. Focus is a muscle, and like any muscle, if you don't train it, it weakens. But if you train it daily, it becomes unstoppable. The world will not slow down for you, so you must learn how to slow yourself down. You must decide in advance what deserves your attention and what does not, because if you don't make that decision, the world will make it for you, and it will choose what benefits it, not you. High performers don't wait to feel focused. They design their environment make focus inevitable. They remove temptations. They set clear targets. They work in blocks. They finish what they start. And when distractions show up, and they always do, they don't negotiate with them. They return to the task. This isn't about willpower. Willpower is unreliable. This is about standards, about deciding this is who I am now. A person who locks in, a person who values depth over dopamine, a person who builds before they broadcast. Because here's the payoff. When you focus deeply, time bends. You enter a state where effort feels lighter, ideas flow faster, and progress compounds. One focused hour can outperform 10 distracted hours. One focused year can change the trajectory of your entire life. And this skill doesn't just affect your work, it affects your confidence. When you do what you said you would do, when you follow through, you start trusting yourself again. That trust becomes certainty. That certainty becomes momentum. In the years ahead, artificial intelligence will automate tasks. Information will be everywhere, but attention cannot be automated. It must be chosen, and those who can choose it deliberately will rise. So stop living in reaction mode. Stop letting algorithms dictate your priorities. Stop mistaking motion for progress. Decide what matters most in the season of your life and give it your undivided attention, because the future belongs to those who can lock in when it counts and refuse to be pulled away from the life they are building. There was a time when stability meant safety. You learned one skill, chose one path, stayed in one lane, and if you worked hard enough, things would work out. That world no longer exists. And the sooner you stop wishing it would come back, the faster you'll start winning in the one you're in now. Because going into 2026, comfort is no longer a reward. It's a risk. Change isn't coming. Chang. E is already here. It's in how we work, how we learn, how we earn, how we connect. Entire industries are being reshaped in real time. Roles that were secure a few years ago are disappearing, while new opportunities are being created for people who can move fast and think differently. And the people who struggle most in this environment aren't the ones who lack talent. They're the ones who cling to what's familiar. Human beings are wired to seek certainty. The brain loves routine. It loves predictability. But growth doesn't happen in certainty. Growth happens in uncertainty. And adaptability is the skill that allows you to stay powerful when the ground is shifting beneath your feet. Most people hear the word adapt and think it means starting over. It doesn't. It means learning faster than the pace of change. It means being willing to update your strategies without abandoning your values. It means letting go of methods that no longer work, even if they once brought you success. And that's where many people get stuck. They confuse past results with future security. They say, this is how I've always done it, as if the world owes them continuity. But the world doesn't reward loyalty to old systems. It rewards responsiveness to new realities. Adaptability starts with identity. If you define yourself too narrowly, change will feel like a threat. If you define yourself as a learner, change becomes an invitation. The question isn't, can I do this forever? The question is, can I learn what's needed next? Because the truth is, you don't need to predict the future to succeed in it. You need to be flexible enough to respond to it. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. They weren't comfortable. They were messy, uncertain, sometimes even painful, but they forced you to develop new skills, new perspectives, new strength. That same process is happening now on a larger scale, and you can either resist it or ride it. Adaptable people don't panic when plans change. They pivot. They ask better questions. They look for leverage instead of loss. When something doesn't work, they don't take it personally. They take it as feedback, and feedback is fuel. The rigid mind says, this shouldn't be happening. The adaptive mind says, what is this teaching me? One leads to frustration. The other leads to evolution. Going into 2026, the most valuable individuals will not be the ones with the perfect resume. They'll be the ones who can learn, unlearn, and relearn quickly, the ones who can step into new environments, collaborate across differences, and figure things out without a manual. This doesn't mean you chase every trend. It means you stay aware. You stay curious. You stay in motion. You experiment, adjust, refine. You're willing to be a beginner again because you understand that being a beginner is the price of becoming exceptional. And yes, that can bruise the ego, especially if you've been good at something for a long time. But ego is expensive. It costs you opportunities. It costs you growth. Adaptability requires humility, the willingness to say, I don't know yet, but I'm willing to learn. That mindset keeps you relevant. It keeps you energized. It keeps you ahead. There's also a deeper layer to adaptability that most people overlook. It's emotional. When things change, fear shows up, doubt shows up, resistance shows up. If you can't manage those internal reactions, you won't adapt, you'll freeze. That's why adaptability connects directly to emotional control and focus. When you can stay calm and clear, you can make intelligent adjustments instead of emotional decisions. And when you do that consistently, you build resilience. You stop fearing change because you trust yourself to handle it. You know that no matter what shifts, you'll find a way forward. That confidence is priceless. So don't anchor your future to a single outcome. Anchor it to your ability to grow. Invest in skills that transfer across roles and industries. Learn how to think, communicate, and solve problems in new ways. Stay open, stay alert, stay willing, because in a world that refuses to stand still, the greatest advantage you can have is the ability to move with it and shape what comes next. Let me tell you something that will save you years of effort if you really hear it. Success is not just about what you know. It's about what you can get across. You can have the greatest ideas in the world, the deepest insights, the strongest intentions. But if you can't communicate them clearly, confidently, and emotionally, they stay trapped inside you. And unused potential is one of the most painful things a human being can live with. We live in a world overflowing with information. Ideas are everywhere. What's rare is the ability to make people feel something, understand something, and take action because of what you say. Going into 2026, communication isn't a soft skill. It's a power skill. It's the difference between being overlooked and being sought after. Think about it. Every opportunity you've ever had came through a conversation, a job, a partnership, a sale, a relationship. Someone listened, someone felt certainty, and a door opened, and every missed opportunity usually traces back to the same place. Miscommunication, hesitation, or silence. Most people don't struggle because they lack value. They struggle because they don't know how to express their value. They downplay themselves, they ramble, they over-explain, or they say nothing at all, hoping their work will speak for itself. Let me be clear, your work does speak, but only after you speak first. Clear communication starts with clarity inside. If you don't know what you want to say, no one else will know what to hear. High-impact communicators think before they speak. They know their outcome. They know their audience. And they shape their message to connect, not to impress. This isn't about fancy words or perfect grammar. It's about intention and presence. When you're fully present, people feel it. When you believe what you're saying, your voice changes, your body changes, your energy changes, and people respond to that energy long before they analyze your words. Going forward, attention spans are shrinking. People are busy, distracted, overloaded, which means clarity is kindness. If you can say something simply, powerfully, and with emotion, you stand out immediately. You earn trust, you gain influence, and influence is leverage. But communication isn't just about talking, it's about listening, truly listening, not waiting for your turn to speak, but actually hearing what's being said and what isn't. When people feel heard, they open up. When they open up, you gain insight. And insight allows you to respond in a way that lands. That's how leaders are made, not by dominating conversations, but by directing them. There's also the courage side of communication, the willingness to speak up when it matters, to ask for what you want, to set boundaries, to give feedback, to tell the truth with respect and strength. Many people stay stuck not because they can't move forward, but because they're afraid of an uncomfortable conversation. But avoiding a conversation doesn't remove the problem. It just delays the cost, and the cost usually grows. High-level communicators don't avoid discomfort, they navigate it. They prepare, they stay calm, they speak from intention instead of emotion. And because of that, they build respect, even when the message is difficult. In the digital age, your communication extends on rooms and meetings. It's in emails, texts, posts, videos, presentations. Every message is shaping how people perceive you. Are you clear or confusing, confident or uncertain, intentional or reactive? This doesn't mean you perform. It means you align. Your words, your tone, your body language, they all point in the same direction. When they do, people trust you. When they don't, people hesitate. And trust is the currency of the future. As automation increases, human connection becomes more valuable. The ability to inspire, persuade, teach, and lead through words will separate those who are replaced from those who rise. Machines can deliver information. They can't deliver conviction. They can't read the room. They can't adapt their message in real time based on emotion. You can, but it takes practice. It takes awareness. It takes the willingness to refine how you communicate, just like you would refine any other skill. You don't wait until the perfect moment. You practice in everyday interactions. You ask better questions. You tell clearer stories. You notice what lands and what doesn't. And as you do, something powerful happens. You stop shrinking. You stop second guessing. You stop holding back. You realize that your voice matters, not because you're loud, but because you're intentional. So going into 2026, don't just upgrade what you know, upgrade how you share it. Speak with clarity, listen with purpose, communicate with conviction. Because when you can move people with your words, you can move your life in any direction you choose. Let's talk about the moment that decides almost everything in your life, the moment when you don't feel like it. Not when you're inspired, not when the music is playing and the vision feels exciting. I'm talking about the quiet moments, the hard mornings, the days when nothing is applauding you, because that's where self-discipline lives, and that's where your future is built. Most people are waiting for motivation. They think motivation comes first, then action follows. But motivation is unreliable. It shows up when conditions are perfect and disappears the moment discomfort arrives. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up whether you feel ready or not. Discipline doesn't ask for permission from your emotions. Discipline says, this is who I am and this is what I do. Going into 2026, this skill is not optional. The world is too noisy, too fast, too demanding to rely on feelings. If you wait until you feel motivated, you will live a life of almost consistent, almost successful, almost proud. Here's the truth most people don't like to hear. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. And standards are enforced through discipline, quietly, daily, repeatedly. Self-discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about keeping promises to yourself. And every time you keep one, your self-trust grows. Every time you break one, it shrinks. Confidence is not something you hype yourself into. It's something you earn through follow-through. Think about how many times you've said, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And suddenly you're asking yourself where the time went. It didn't go anywhere. It was traded for comfort. Discipline is the ability to choose what you want most over what you want now. And let's be honest, discipline feels uncomfortable at first. It challenges your habits. It disrupts your patterns. It exposes your excuses. But that discomfort is temporary. The regret of staying the same is not. High performers don't have superhuman willpower. They have systems. They decide in advance. They don't wake up asking, do I feel like doing this? They wake up knowing what's non-negotiable. When something is non-negotiable, there's no debate, no mental back and forth. You just move. And that's where freedom actually comes from. Most people think discipline is restrictive, but lack of discipline is what traps you. It traps you in financial stress, in poor health, in unrealized potential. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you know you could be. There will be days when motivation disappears completely, days when progress feels invisible, days when quitting would be easier. Those are not signs to stop. Those are signs you're being tested. Tested to see if you're committed or just interested. Interest fades, commitment doesn't. And here's something important, discipline compounds. One small disciplined action makes the next one easier. Momentum builds, identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who finishes. This connects directly to focus and adaptability. Discipline is what keeps you locked in when distractions are screaming. Discipline is what keeps you learning when change feels uncomfortable. Without it, all the other skills collapse. Discipline also teaches you emotional strength. You learn that feelings don't get to be in charge. You learn that discomfort won't kill you. You learn that you are stronger than the voice that says, not today. And when you realize that fear loses its grip, the future belongs to people who can delay gratification, who can work without immediate reward, who can plant seeds they may not harvest for months or years. That level of patience is rare, and that's why it's powerful. This doesn't mean you become rigid or joyless. It means you become intentional. You decide what matters. You align your actions with your values. You stop negotiating with the version of you that wants to stay comfortable, because comfort doesn't create growth. Pressure does, structure does, discipline does, and over time, something amazing happens. What once required effort becomes automatic. What once felt hard becomes normal. You don't need motivation anymore because discipline has built momentum, and momentum carries you forward. So don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait to feel confident. Act first, discipline first, let motivation catch up later, because the people who win in the next chapter of the world will not be the most talented or the most excited. They'll be the most disciplined when it matters most. Let's talk about money, not in the abstract, not in the someday I'll figure it out kind of way, but in the concrete, strategic, no excuses way. Because going into 2026, financial intelligence is not optional. It's survival. Earning money is no longer enough. Saving money is no longer enough. You have to understand money, how it moves, how it grows, and how it protects you. Ignorance in this area is costly, and the cost is higher than most people realize. Most people think money is complicated, but here's the truth. Money is simple if you understand the principles and apply them consistently. Yet the majority of people never take the time to learn. They rely on hope. They rely on luck. They rely on advice from people who themselves don't understand it. And then they wonder why, after working hard for decades, they still feel trapped. Financial intelligence starts with clarity. How much do you earn? How much do you spend? How much do you save? How much is actually working for you, growing for you, creating leverage for your future? Most people can't answer these questions clearly. They think they know, but they don't. And uncertainty here creates stress, frustration, and missed opportunities. The first skill in financial intelligence is understanding cash flow. Money is not about what's in your bank account today. It's about what's coming in, what's going out, and how you can make the flow work for you instead of against you. A paycheck isn't freedom, it's temporary fuel. The real power is in creating streams of income that generate wealth without constant effort. That's how you move from surviving to thriving. The second skill is investing in yourself. The highest return you can ever create is on the skills, knowledge, and relationships that increase your ability to earn, create, and influence. That's why people who understand money don't just look at stock charts. They look at opportunities to learn, to grow, to expand their capability. When you invest in yourself strategically, your earning potential multiplies in ways most people never see coming. The third skill is making your money work for you. It's not about earning more, it's about leverage. Money can be used as a tool to generate more wealth through investments, businesses, assets that appreciate, systems that compound. This requires knowledge, but more importantly, it requires discipline and courage. People avoid it because it's unfamiliar, uncomfortable, or risky. But inaction is far riskier than calculated action. Financial intelligence also means understanding risk and protection. Life is unpredictable. Markets fluctuate. Businesses fail. Emergencies happen. People who are financially intelligent don't just chase opportunities. They prepare for setbacks. They build reserves, insurance, and buffers. They create security without sacrificing growth. That balance is what keeps them steady when chaos hits. Most people think wealth is about lifestyle. The truth is, lifestyle follows intelligence. The ability to make informed decisions, to delay gratification, to prioritize long-term growth over short-term pleasure, that is what separates people who are financially secure from those who are always struggling. And part of financial intelligence is understanding leverage, time, capital, and people. Your money can work harder than you can. Your skills can command higher rates. Your network can open doors that your effort alone cannot. But leverage requires awareness. You cannot build systems or relationships if you are blind to opportunity or scared to take smart risks. And here's something most people overlook. Emotional intelligence around money is as important as technical knowledge. Fear, greed, impulse, envy, these emotions sabotage 99% of financial decisions. Emotional discipline allows you to stay consistent, to stick to your plan, and to seize opportunities when others panic. People make money not just by knowing what to do, but by doing what they know consistently without being derailed by emotion. Going into 2026, the economy is changing faster than ever. Jobs, industries, technologies, and markets are shifting at lightning speed. Inflation, automation, new currencies, and global trends are creating both challenges and opportunities. If you don't understand how money flows in this environment, you'll be left behind. But if you master it, you'll not only survive, you'll thrive. Financial intelligence isn't about being rich in the superficial sense. It's about freedom. Freedom to make choices, freedom to create impact, freedom to walk away from what no longer serves you. It's about control. The more you understand money, the less money controls you. The more strategic you become, the more doors open, the more influence you can wield, and the more security you create for yourself and those you care about. And here's the critical point. Financial intelligence compounds. One smart decision today leads to multiple advantages tomorrow. One educated risk taken consistently builds a foundation that carries through years, even decades, but it requires commitment. It requires learning, observation, analysis, and courage. It requires refusing to let ignorance dictate your future. So start now, understand your cash flow, invest in your skills, make your money work for you, build reserves and protection, control your emotions, leverage opportunities. The people who master these principles will not just survive the next few years, they'll dominate them. Because mastery over money is mastery over your freedom, your choices, and your future. Let's talk about something most people underestimate, yet it determines almost everything in life. Confidence, not the fake kind, the kind that wears a mask and hopes nobody notices the doubt underneath. I'm talking about identity-based confidence, the deep, unshakable certainty that comes from keeping promises to yourself, from aligning who you are with what you do, from building trust with yourself before expecting it from anyone else. This is a skill you can't ignore going into 2026 because the world will challenge your belief in yourself at every turn. And the stronger your internal foundation, the higher you can rise, no matter what external forces try to knock you down. Most people look for confidence in the wrong places. They look for it in achievements, in approval, in validation from others. They think, if I get that promotion, that person's respect, that recognition, I'll feel confident. But that kind of confidence is fragile. It depends on things outside of you. And when those things disappear, so does the confidence. Identity-based confidence is different. It's not borrowed, it's built. And once it's built, no one can take it away. At its core, identity-based confidence comes from doing what you say you're going to do. Every promise you keep to yourself, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of your confidence, and every promise you break erodes it. Simple habits, consistent follow-through, pushing yourself to do what's uncomfortable. These are the actions that create a self-image you can trust, and when you trust yourself, nothing can intimidate you. Going into 2026, the stakes will be higher. Opportunities will require bold action. Change will demand risk. The world will throw doubt at you constantly through competition, through setbacks, through people who question your ability. If your confidence is built on external validation, that doubt becomes debilitating. But if your confidence is rooted in identity, those challenges become fuel, not obstacles. Think about it. People who achieve extraordinary things aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who have cultivated the belief that they can handle what comes next. That belief doesn't come from luck. It comes from repeated practice, repeated action, and repeated reinforcement of who they know themselves to be. You develop confidence by showing up, by acting even when you feel fear, and by learning to trust the process, not just the outcome. Identity-based confidence also comes from clarity of values and purpose. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you stop being swayed by external opinion. You stop overanalyzing every decision. You stop shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. That kind of clarity allows you to move through the world with authority, even in uncertain or intimidating situations. It's magnetic. People respond to it, opportunities respond to it, and it all starts internally, not externally. Here's the challenge most people face. They try to build confidence without building capability. They want to feel ready before they act, and that's backwards. Confidence grows through action. Action creates experience. Experience creates competence. Competence reinforces identity, and the cycle repeats. Waiting until you feel ready is the fastest way to stay stuck. Doing what stretches you, even before you feel prepared, is how you grow your internal belief system. This kind of confidence also changes the way you handle failure. When your self-worth is tied to results, failure becomes devastating. But when your confidence is based on identity, failure is feedback. It's information. It's a course correction. You no longer fear mistakes. They become opportunities to reinforce your resilience and expand your capability. That shift in perspective is what separates people who rise quickly from those who stagnate. And here's something most people miss. Confidence is contagious. When you operate from a place of unshakable identity-based confidence, it influences everyone around you, your team, your clients, your family, even strangers. People trust you more. People follow you more willingly. People invest in your ideas and support your vision. Confidence isn't just personal. It's a multiplier of influence. The key to building this confidence is consistency. It's not one heroic act that changes your life. It's repeated, intentional action over time. Show up when it's uncomfortable. Speak up when you'd rather stay quiet. Do the work when nobody's watching. Make small commitments and keep them. Over time, those small wins compound, and your self-image transforms from doubt to certainty. You stop questioning whether you're capable. You start knowing it. Going into 2026, the environment will demand it. Rapid change, disruption, competition, these are not things you can navigate with temporary confidence. They require deep, unshakable belief in yourself. You need to know that no matter what challenge comes, you will find a way. That is identity-based confidence. That is power. That is freedom. So if you want to rise above the noise, the uncertainty, and the pressure, start by building your internal foundation. Keep your promises to yourself. Push through fear. Strengthen your habits. Clarify your values. Act consistently. And remember this, the strongest influence you will ever have on your life doesn't come from anyone else. It comes from the person staring back at you in the mirror. Because when your confidence is built from within, nothing outside of you can ever shake it. Let's finish by talking about something that will determine not just your success in 2026, but your relevance, your impact, and the life you're able to create for yourself over the next decade, lifelong learning. Most people think learning ends when they finish school, when they get a degree, or when they start working. But here's the hard truth. The world moves too fast for that kind of thinking. Skills expire. Knowledge becomes outdated. And if you stop learning, you're already behind. The people who thrive are not the ones who know the most today. They are the ones who commit to learning continuously, growing relentlessly, and staying curious no matter what stage of life they're in. Lifelong learning isn't just about picking up facts or reading books. It's about upgrading yourself constantly. Your skills, your mindset, your adaptability. It's about understanding that the person you are today is not the person who can win tomorrow. And if you want to shape your future, instead of being shaped by it, you have to be willing to evolve. Most people resist learning because it's uncomfortable. It exposes gaps in knowledge, highlights weaknesses, and challenges the ego. Nobody likes to feel incompetent, to admit they don't know something, but the fastest way to grow is to embrace that discomfort, to lean into it, and to see it as fuel rather than failure. Every new skill you acquire, every new perspective you adopt is a tool that compounds over time. And the sooner you start, the faster that compounding accelerates going into 2026. The pace of change is only increasing. Industries will continue to shift, technologies will continue to evolve, and traditional paths will continue to disappear. Jobs that exist today may vanish in a decade, and new opportunities will appear for those who are ready. The people who are prepared are the ones who invest in themselves, not just once, but consistently, relentlessly, and strategically. They read, they observe, they practice, they fail, and they refine. Lifelong learning is also about curiosity. It's about asking better questions than anyone else. It's about refusing to settle for assumptions or conventional thinking. Curiosity drives innovation, it drives problem solving, it drives differentiation. And in a world where everyone is chasing the same strategies, the person who asks the questions nobody else is asking becomes the person who discovers the opportunities nobody else sees. But learning is not just an intellectual exercise, it's an emotional one. It requires humility. Humility to admit that you don't know everything. Humility to seek guidance and mentorship. Humility to take feedback seriously and to adjust. The people who grow fastest are not the ones with the largest egos. They're the ones with the largest capacity to absorb, adapt, and apply. Another critical element of lifelong learning is action. Knowledge alone, is meaningless if it's not applied. Reading a book, attending a seminar, watching a tutorial, these things are only valuable if you integrate what you learn into your life. Learning without action is like planting seeds in barren soil. Growth comes when you implement, when you experiment, when you iterate. Every action you take based on new knowledge reinforces the learning and creates momentum for the next step, and momentum matters. One of the most powerful aspects of lifelong learning is how it compounds over time. Each new skill builds on the last. Each insight informs the next. Each failure teaches a lesson that accelerates your future decisions. People who embrace continuous learning move faster, adapt quicker, and innovate more effectively than those who rest on past knowledge. Going into 2026, you cannot rely on what you already know. You cannot rely on yesterday's strategies or the skills that got you this far. The world is moving too quickly, and complacency is a luxury you cannot afford. The people who stay relevant are the ones who are constantly upgrading themselves. They are the ones who treat their minds like a business, investing in it, training it, expanding it. Lifelong learning also builds confidence. The more you know, the more you can navigate uncertainty. The more adaptable you are, the less intimidating the unknown becomes. Knowledge creates choices. Choices create freedom. Freedom creates power, and that power is not about dominating others. It's about dominating your own potential. Most importantly, lifelong learning fosters resilience. When the world shifts, the person who can pivot, who can quickly absorb new information, and who can adjust their strategies is the person who survives and thrives. The person who refuses to learn, who clings to old methods and outdated knowledge, is the person who falls behind. And in a rapidly changing world, falling behind can be permanent if you don't act. So start now. Commit to learning every day. Seek knowledge, but more importantly, seek understanding. Take risks in what you study. Challenge yourself. Apply what you learn immediately. Surround yourself with people who stretch your thinking. Read widely, listen deeply, question everything, and never, ever stop growing, because the world will not wait for you to catch up. Opportunity favors those who are prepared, who are skilled, who are adaptable, and who are willing to learn faster than the speed of change. Lifelong learning is not just a skill, it's a mindset, a strategy, and the key to staying relevant, valuable, and unstoppable. And when you embrace it fully, you realize that the only limits to what you can achieve are the limits you place on your willingness to grow.